Welcome everyone. We are at the Global Empowerment Summit again. We are at the 6th week, the last week. Can you believe it? It was such a beautiful journey with so many inspiring people, more than 200 experts. I haven't counted, but I believe we reached the 215 speakers because there's always someone coming to the team offering help and volunteering. So I'm just amazed by the humans coming on board and empowering others just by giving their time. And I know that everyone is busy, just like Nigesh, who is living a very busy life. He is from Leaderonomics, and last year we had our guest, he had Roshan Tiran as our guest, and now he recommended so many people to join us. So we have Andrea, we have Nigesh, we have many people joining from Leaderonomics just to give this colorful palette that you can see for the last 6 weeks. So Nigesh, how are you today? How is your day so far?
I'm good, Andrea. And I just remembering our conversation before we came on air, my day starts usually very early. So at this point of the day, right now, 10 a.m., it's already 5 hours since I've been awake. So it's quite a lot that's happened in that 5 hours. But before we kind of move on to the conversation, I want to say this again, like to everybody who's been part of this Global Empowerment Summit, whether the speakers, whether the panelists, and especially those who are actually watching it. I got to take my hats off. So she's wearing a really nice hat. I keep on complimenting her on that one. Hats off to Andrea and also the team to actually put this together. It's 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks worth of so many different events. The energy level that one human being or a team of human beings can have to kind of put this together for everyone out there is just amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So I'm just glad to be one little piece of it.
Thank you very much, Nigesh. And I always say that, although I'm organizing it alone, the team is the speakers. The team is the 200 speakers who are coming on board, because I couldn't have done it without you. I mean, all of you are on time, in here, energy, smile up, elevation, all the positive energies that people need today. So thank you very much for that.
No problem. No problem at all, Andrea. No problem at all.
So Nigesh, let's start with you first. I always start with the story of the person. Right. So who are you? What are you doing? And what keeps you up at night?
Who am I? So very interestingly that you brought that up, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing a workshop, and that's actually one of those questions that I put up there, like, who am I? And a question for everybody to ask. So I am, like everybody, many different things. I'm a father. I'm a guy who manages a team. I'm a guy who loves basketball. I'm a guy who loves music. I'm a guy who loves creative things. I'm a guy who loves gaming. I'm all of those things. But if you want to kind of categorize me as my journey and where I'm from, I think I'm a guy who has tried many different things in my life. I think I had a few different sessions where I got to actually explain my life story a little bit. Like, I had something a little bit unconventional where I may have graduated as an engineer, but I tried so many different things as I moved along in my life. And I think finally now at this point, when I'm about to hit my 40s, I'm kind of getting to that point where I kind of really understand myself. I don't know who I am exactly right now, because I know that's going to change. But I know that I understand myself better. I understand those things that keep me happy, like working with people, working on growing people, working on growing teams, working on growing businesses, working on projects, creating, building. That's me. That's what keeps me up. And that's what sometimes forces me not to sleep. Not because I'm too busy, but it's an exciting thing to do when you see something being built, something being created, and something kind of getting its own legs and living its own life. That's really exciting. So that's sort of who I am as a person per se.
And I also wanted to talk about something specific before we go to your topics, because I remember Roshan was introducing me something that you built with your team, and it's something very amazing, and people should check it out. It's about Nicole, and I already love the name, and I was really enthusiastic about joining you, but right now I'm so tied up with everything what I'm building. But I really would love the people to check it out, because it's kind of a nice platform to know about a lot of things, to get informed, to connect, to just listen to trusted information. So tell us a little bit about Nicole first, and then we will go very shortly, because we have like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
But
sure.
but let's just tell the people about Nicole and where they can read more about it.
Sure. Nicole is a learning experience platform. So when we say terms like that, sometimes people don't get what that means. It just means that it's a platform that gives power to the learner to decide what they want to learn, and it's assisted by technology to do that. So it's actually putting in front of you what you need when you need it, and in microbytes. Because these days people don't learn by sitting down and reading a book, unfortunately, even though that's a really great thing to do. But people try to learn as and when they need it. So when they need it, they want to look at something. Imagine you're a cook. You need something, you need to look at it, and you need to cook there and then. So that's the whole idea of Nicole, allowing you to do that. But it then builds on that further, where we call these service stacks per se. So you can either have courses that you can take. You can either have live sessions that you can join. You can have a full run blended program if you need to. And all of this happening within a community that is Nicole itself. So it's geared towards both the learner. So if you see that link that you have down there, nicole.app, that's the site you want to go to. But for corporations and companies out there, if you want to find out the solutions geared towards that, that's nicole.tech. So that is trying to bring technology into our lives, but keep it relevant, keep it practical. So that's what Nicole is. Hey, you can see Andrea she's the woman who's kind of handling everything at one time. She's like,
yes, of course. I'm searching for the website. I found it already, so no problem.
Yeah. See what I mean by amazing? You see what I mean by amazing? One woman sitting there who is interviewing and at the same time handling the backstage at the same time.
That's exciting, right? I mean, this is the beauty of life. We can all do it. It's just have to be focused, and then you do a few things. You click here, click there, and everything is possible. So here we are. That's the Nicole.tech, and please search and check it out if you are from corporations or someone who is interested, some like of learning experience for your people. So Nicole is amazing also on an individual level, and I believe something that you will talk about today, it's something that maybe we can find also on Nicole, right?
Yep. So I know, like we're talking about, I'm selfish for you, right? And I am a person who believes that there is nothing wrong in being selfish. People say selfish is a bad word, but there's nothing wrong in being selfish, as long as, there's a caveat, as long as you don't harm somebody else. So I remember one of the panel sessions we were having, and I was asked what were my final words. I just said that just do no harm. That's it. Just have that as a principle, do no harm, but focus on yourself. Because this is the key thing. Like whenever anybody asks me, like, how do I help somebody else? How do I work on myself? How do I know what skills am I going to build for myself? What kind of behaviors I need to have? What's my purpose? What would fulfill me? You see, a lot of these things have all these questions of what would do this for me. And on the other end as well, we got to be very honest. When we help somebody else, why are we doing that in the first place? We can say, yeah, it's for the betterment of the person, it's the betterment for the community, da 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 da. You can't. Yes, that's the consequence of it, but not the reason for it. And the reason for it has a lot to do with yourself. And by you being selfish and not wanting to harm somebody else, that's where you think about, okay, what do I need? What do I need to fulfill for myself? Because if you fulfill yourself, if you're able to make yourself a whole self, and this is a journey that keeps on going. It doesn't happen that today, yes, I am it. I am everything that I need to be, and that's it. No. I think, again, we were talking just behind backstage that how this summit is different from the last summit. Everything changes based on situations you're in, the time, where you are in your life. All these things changes what happens to you. But understanding yourself, understanding how you work, understanding what makes you happy, fulfills you, and understanding that you're not always going to be in positive emotion. You are a balanced human being. Everybody's a balanced human being. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have days where you make a mistake, you're gonna have days that where you do something really great. You gotta accept all of that. And that's what being selfish is. Accept all of that, that's part of you. And don't be apologetic about it. Don't feel guilty about it. No matter what anybody can say, do not feel guilty about it. If you are a person who likes to work, do not feel guilty about it. If that fulfills you, that fulfills you. Come what may, whomever who may say anything to you, yeah, take it, hear the feedback. Maybe there's something there, but do not ever feel guilty that you're doing something that fulfills you, because that then allows you to actually help another human being. That allows you to be someone who can contribute to society. If you are someone who is, take a porcelain clay jar, right? If you are someone who's got cracks in the jar, which just takes a hit for the whole thing to break, how are you going to help somebody else? So there's nothing absolutely wrong with being selfish as long as you do not harm somebody else. Because as another human being wouldn't want to be harmed, you wouldn't want to be harmed as well. And you would do good by yourself. So that's essentially what I'm trying to say. Like, I focus a lot on myself. And when I learn, I do focus a lot about learning for myself, because by doing that, I'm growing myself, which I would apply to things which would help somebody else. So I do say for everybody as well, if you want the simplest thing to do, focus on yourself.
I am listing 3 things down that I would like to talk about after you said this, what you just said right now. The first thing is the strong core. Like, I'm coming from a dancing background and I'm using it in my business. I'm using it everywhere. It's all around my life. And the first thing that we learn as dancers, that we have to have this strong core, because without your muscles, without your consciousness, without knowing what you want to do, you are unable to express yourself. You are unable to do things even with your partner. And then you have to understand the partner, the environment. And so it's just like life, right? Because you are one point dancing around life. And if this one point is not stable enough, then you cannot connect with other people on a fulfilled way, because you will never understand, never listen, never contribute, never collaborate. So it's really, really interesting point. The second point was the failures, right? I remember last year when I was doing this for the first time, I was scheduling an interview, the whole fashion show. We had a live fashion show with 250 guests and with models in the MyTech, because that was the single one moment in time in history that it was allowed by SOP. So we could make a nice fashion show there, a digital fashion show. And I scheduled in StreamYard, but I scheduled it too early. And when you schedule it too early, it deleting the whole live stream. So I had to, 5 minutes before the show, I had to recreate the stream and send out the links to everyone. And me, myself, I was like, Jesus Christ, the whole show is ruined. It will not be live. And what will happen? And I was like alone in the big room in MyTech, and they were below me in the big room when they had the exhibition. And I was like, I cannot do anything. I cannot tell the people. So these things happen. Maybe you don't see every people who is doing work and everyone who is doing something in life. We all make mistakes, but it's not. How could I say, to come out of it on a positive way? It means that you take the most out of that moment and you try to correct it in that moment, right? It's not about dwelling on it. It's not about keeping that failure pulling you down, like you said, apologizing. And this is such a just wanted to say an example, because this is happening like whenever we do something, right, Nigesh?
Yeah. But I also think there's something a little different to say. Like, we can't help as human beings when a mistake happens. Sure, when adrenaline is pumping and we need to do something, we'll just do it. But there lies in something as well, that we have the resilience. People say that, oh, I need to build resilience. No, you just need to build a practice of resilience, because everybody, when push comes to shove, you can do it. But one thing you cannot deny is when things are settled, you will feel it. You will feel, oh God, what a mistake I did. Or, oh God, I feel bad about it. You will feel it.
Yeah.
And the tendency that most people try to do is go back to that whole, no, I shouldn't. I have to move forward. I have to move forward kind of thing. And that's not right. people should take intentional time for themselves to actually go through it, because there's a reason you're feeling it. And if you don't understand why you're feeling it, you don't take intentional time to just sit down and know why, you're never going to learn from it. You're never going to learn why you felt this way, what brought you to feel this way, what can you do in future. So don't deny yourself that. To anybody out there, if you feel something, do not deny the feeling. Maybe it's not the right time because you're busy, sure, but tell yourself, I'm going to put time aside later on. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to actually understand or go through the emotions. Let it flow through you. Because if you don't, emotions and memory has a funny way of biting you back sometime in the future, because something
So
will
true.
happen, it will trigger you, and at that point you're going to feel, oh god. And sometimes this is that whole theory of amygdala hijack, because if it becomes a memory in your reaction zone in your brain, then you're just reacting. People have panic attacks. It's just a reaction based on things that you have not solved that has become now something that is in your reaction zone of your brain.
So interesting. I love this psychological part, but let's not go into this. Maybe at your workshop we will
Yeah.
go more further into this. The third point that I want to mention is that sometimes social entrepreneurs like me, also I'm a social entrepreneur, I do things for good. We are struggling with the thing what you were mentioning, which is we don't want to make money out of it, but at the end we also have to live from it, right? Because you cannot really do, if you don't do this full time,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't find the income from it, right,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot do this full time. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't do this full time,
Mm-hmm.
then you cannot build the exact impact that you want to build. And many of
Exactly.
us is struggling. Like, I want to give, I want to do it for free. But for the second year, I'm doing this for free. But on a way, I'm also saying, like, I would love to do this like 24/7 because I just
Mm-hmm.
love this kind of thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
about being selfish about yourself. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you cannot charge for it, because I feel
Yeah.
guilty. I have to tell you, Nigesh, that many times when I'm having this thought that, okay, I have to charge for this because
Mm-hmm.
I just have to do it because people
Mm-hmm.
are more committed, they would show
Mm-hmm.
up, and then when there's a ticket, then you have something to, look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
This is a kind of exchange.
Mm-hmm.
But then comes the guilty mind, but you are doing it for the good of the people, and then how can you ask for my? So these kind of things, I believe everyone is struggling with it, and this is
Mm-hmm.
where your purpose, your I'm
Yeah.
selfish for you is coming in, right?
Yeah. And just a little conversation maybe around social enterprises. And most people think that if it's a social enterprise, they're doing it out of the good of their hearts and they don't need to make money and all that, which is a very wrong concept, right? You're completely right. Everyone needs to make a living. Everyone needs to live. Everyone needs to live not just normally or just at the bare minimum. Everyone has a right to live comfortably. Social enterprise just means that you have a very strong social value. Whatever you do, you're doing it for the betterment of the society itself. But that does not mean that anybody who's running a social enterprise doesn't need to make a living. They do, and they do need to charge fairly for whatever that's being offered. Like example, this summit itself, I know 2 years running you're doing it for free, but I would dare say if you decide to charge next year, people know what is valuable. And I think that's the respect we got to give to the person on the other end as well. We think that no, we shouldn't because it's for the betterment. But if they know it's something valuable, no one will balk to actually say, you know what, it's valuable. I am going to transfer value with you. I'm going to pay for what you're giving me because you're giving me so much. And I really, really appreciate that. The instant that's already been built in them, no one's going to complain. Everyone is going to be able to actually fairly do that. And that's what living equitably means. Doesn't mean that if you're a social enterprise, you don't need to do it. You don't need to make a living. You do. You have a right to live comfortably, but at the same time, everyone gains from it as well. And that's the perfect example of how being selfish for yourself actually helps somebody else.
How do you do it for yourself? Like, I'm really curious about your story, because I know that Leaderonomics is doing a lot of things, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
you also do something on your own, or how is this for yourself? How was your journey of becoming
Right.
selfish? Because it's not an easy way, right? It's
It's
not an
not.
easy
It's
journey.
not. It's not. I think I went through the same struggles as well. There was a lot of things, like especially I go back to the time when I was a musician. I was a full-time musician. I still do music as a pastime, but I was a full-time musician. And I think those who perform, I think, Andrea, you also would have faced this as well. Those who perform, sometimes when you go out to perform, you want to get a place to perform. Someone would say, yes, please, we love what you do, but we can't pay you, but we can give you exposure. That word comes out. So when we go through that, it's sometimes that whole struggle of, I need it. I need the exposure because people need to know me. People need to know the value that I do. But how long can I do that for? How long can I do that for? Because I need to eat. I need to live. I need to pay bills. I think it's the same for anybody who performs out there, anybody who does any profession out there. So I learned as well over time that, okay, you know what? I can't keep giving it for either a very low price or for free. If I believe in my own value, I believe in what I am doing, I believe that I'm putting my all into it. And if someone else is going to gain value out of it, I should also believe that I can charge for it as well. So it's a learning that came as I went along. And this also worked through the businesses that I was doing last time as well, where because I wanted to get my business out there were certain things that I did for free. But then as I learned, I understood this other part as well. Value doesn't always mean money. And that's one key thing. Value doesn't always mean money. Yes, money is important when it comes to you personally, when you need to do your day to day. But let's say you are doing an initiative. Let's say, example, this Global Empowerment Summit itself, that's a perfect example of how all of us have actually transferred value between each other, because none of us are charging for our time. None of us are. But Andrea is also putting all of this together. And that's value for us because we get to come out, we get to show what we do and share our experiences. That's exposure for us. Sure, it's exposure for us, but what does it cost us? An hour? 30 minutes? That's not much. But at the same time, we have this platform reaching out to so many people, which then connects us to other things. So that's transfer of value. I'm giving something, Andrea's giving something as well. But if there's no give and take, sure, then that doesn't work. Or if the other hand, if let's say Andrea told me that, look, I'm going to need 8 hours of your time today to actually do a full workshop. Okay, then I'm going to be questioning, because I know my 8 hours, I could be doing so many other things, which actually gives me monetary value or some other form of value. Then I'll question. But she did not ask that. She's fully aware that everyone can provide X amount of time. And I'm looking at it as, wow, this is 200 plus speakers, so many other people around actually looking at this. This is great for me. At the same time, I get to share with others and help others as well, which lives to my purpose. So value can come in very different forms. But as long as there's fair, equitable exchange of value, and you do gain something that really helps you, that really is something that will build you, great. But if you feel you're at the losing end, there is no harm at all for you to say, no, this is not for me. And that's the part where I think most people need to build that courage to, like, I don't want to upset my friend. No, it's not upsetting your friend. It's respecting your friend. And be respectful as well. Say that, look, I would love to do it, but this is how I see myself. This is how I value myself. And I value what you're doing, but I do not think that this is a match right now. Give mutual respect and you will get it as well.
I think that's very important what you just mentioned, the alignment and the boundaries, that if it's an alignment with you, what you do, it's serving your business, it's serving your personality, it's serving your development, it's serving your networking, then okay, I can go for it. But if it's really out of the context and it's just something that I would say yes because I love the guy or the lady who is organizing it, you can say no. Because it's just, even if you say yes, just because you are friends, the quality and the value will not be so much, because you will not be so motivated. You are always looking at your watch, or I have to rush. I just have 2 minutes for you. So it's kind of like, it's the old times of bartering. It always reminds me on this, like how people did commerce in the old times, but just exchanging, food for a shoe or this kind of things. It has really a value. Now it's about services because we are moving in the service world, but that's how world worked before. Like, and it was real value. It was real exchange between people, right?
Yeah. And Andrea, I just want to add one more thing to that. Like, if you say yes to your friend, and you don't feel you're just saying it just for the sake of, it's my friend, but it's really taking up so much of my time, but okay, you know what, I'll do this. Do that often enough and you'll start resenting that person. And that, most people will say, that person keeps on asking me to do things for free. No, look at yourself. Why did you accept? You created the resentment to that person. So you got to look at yourself and understand that your choices caused that to happen as well. So that's important. You can cause friction in a relationship if you're not honest with yourself.
Perfect, Nigesh. I think we arrived to the end of this interview. We have already scratched the surface of I'm Selfish for You, and we will go further with this training on your workshop, right?
Yeah,
so that will
that's
be
tomorrow.
something coming up tomorrow, and it will be afternoon time. So please, guys, if you are not having anything to do on a Saturday and you would like to learn a lot, we have tons of workshops to join in, and Nigesh is bringing the same topic, similar topic on a higher level to the workshop, the 50 minutes. At the end of the workshop, just say at the end of this interview, just tell a little bit where people can reach out to you, where can they find you, how can they connect with you.
All right. The easiest thing is just catch me on LinkedIn. So just go find Nigesh Armon and you'll find me on LinkedIn. And that's the best place to connect with me. I check LinkedIn more often than I check all my other social media. So that's the best place to catch me.
I think for all the speakers, this is the truth. You just have to search for them on LinkedIn, because that's how I found them on the networking, that I built up also the network there. So you will find every single person there. So search for Nigesh Armon and then reach out and write GES 2021. So he will know that you were watching this video, even on a replay. And don't forget to play. The treasure hunt game is still on until the end of the year. So make sure you are playing, rewatching, leaving us aha moments, feedbacks, and even reaching out to the people so that we can give you points and you can win and be the top of the leaderboard. So Nigesh, thank you very much. Have an amazing day, some rest also, and see you very, very soon on Saturday at your workshop.
Thanks, Andrea, and keep that energy. That hat really just shows your energy as well. Just keep that going, honestly.
It's energizing me too. Thank you, Nigesh. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you for watching, Jack. Bye-bye.